allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Mark. We need to amend our agenda to have contract for room and bond for the work he's gonna do on the Dakota City shed.
So moved to, okay, to approve this addition. I'll second Mark's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Minutes from last week's meeting? Any additions or corrections?
I move the adoption of minutes as printed. I'll second.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. General public?
Yes, I'm Jim Lloyd-Holt. I do custom farming for B&B Farms, which is Rex Bastion on Rutland 24. A new county tile was put in the last 2 to 3 years north on 169. Over the last 2 years, sinkholes have appeared. I informed Trish a year ago last summer that there was a sinkhole that needed to be looked at. Finally, this year, when I went out and mowed the CRP ground, I found 3 more sinkholes. Now, Marceau Excavation is out there now working on it. And I guess the question I have is, what happened, why did it happen, and what's it gonna cost the landowners? I'm already getting some heat from Rex about he's already paid $27,000 for this new county tile. And how much more is this gonna cost to fix? Now, my understanding from talking to Marceau, that these tiles have become out of alignment. So the question is between the engineer and the contractor, why did they not understand or see that maybe the soil load-bearing capacity weren't there, that they should have been shored up? So it looks like it's now a hell of an extra expense that's gonna happen now to the landowners in that drainage district. Because Marceau's found at least 2 to 3 more sinkholes. And it's a very short distance. I mean, obviously it's on the east side of 169 and on the south side of 190th Street. The discussion was, there's a possibility you may have to dig it up, all of it, and refit them, and put material over the seams, and then put concrete over, cement over the top of them. So I'm bringing this to you guys, just trying to figure out what happened, and what is gonna be the cost. Because I'm sure Rex Bastion's not gonna be happy with any cost, after he had to pay $27,000 initially.
Does Rick Hopper look at any of that, Trish?
No, he's going to.
He's going to?
So we just found out about it Friday when Doug came in, and Doug contacted Rick, and Rick said that it was done by Denver Underground, which they're very good. And he assumed that they felt it was properly bedded and stable.
And how long ago was that? It's been quite over a year, 2 years.
Ago.
Yeah.
They've been having problems out there every once in a while, haven't they? It looks like there's been somebody there that isn't the first time I've seen somebody out there working on that.
On that.
You're probably thinking of the ditch part, aren't you?
No, right out in that field with a...
Not since the initial new county tile was put in.
Nobody's been out there.
They leveled it, that was it. Now, 2 summers ago, there was a sinkhole. They must have some sort of an equalizer, major tile. It's just off from the east side of 169, where other tiles come in. Now, that was a pretty good-sized hole, and it didn't get addressed back in the summer of 2013. So, last Friday is the first time Doug has, obviously got there, and he found more than I had found when I mowed this summer.
So it's getting worse. The whole thing is getting worse.
Well, the part that's concerning me, Jerry, is just the fact that, I find 3, he finds 2 or 3 more, and how many more are we gonna have? And, is it a function of bad material, meaning, or the tongue and groove part,
Right.
was it bad before it even went in? The soil holding capacity of putting it in on grade. And I guess, I understand...
How deep a tile you figure that is? How deep in the ground you figure?
I suppose it's 5 to 6 feet at least.
Okay, so
It's not terribly deep.
No,
It's
it's not like feet deep,
You know,
no.
the drainage district that's over there by Clare and Pioneer, where they're
Mhm.
17, 18 feet
Yeah.
deep, but no. It's not that deep, and it's not that long. I mean, all it comes is from the dredge, crosses the highway, makes one little loop north of our, Rutland 24, and then back into 24. So it's one of the probably smaller county towns that you have in length.
Mhm. And what was the size
Yeah,
again?
size on that, maybe.
Was it 50?
And that was like 18 to 20,
Probably 18, you know.
That's, yeah.
and 24.
I guess from my perspective, at least I'm looking out for the landowner, Rex Bashman, is, I think the landowners are gonna need to know what in the world this is gonna cost to fix this baby. And it's too bad that we don't have any recourse, if we don't, to go back on Denver.
Bond's already gone, too late for bond, is it?
Oh, long.
Yeah.
Bond gone.
Are the tiles settling, is that the issue?
My understanding is that they're
uneven.
uneven, which means obviously on the tongue and groove, they've actually
They've
separated
separated.
apart. Or if they haven't, they've
Or
lost it.
That's what I was wondering, if they're settled and snapped the
And
neck off of them or something.
What's
Doug
that?
was
I'm
saying
not
that,
sure if they've broken or...
No,
Probably drain tile, they don't have any tongue.
I mean, they-
I wonder if they're 18s, if they even have
No,
tongue
they-
and groove. They do?
What they delivered there, they did,
They did.
grooved, if I remember.
They are?
Aren't they? Yeah.
I'm assuming they are, most of them are.
Yeah.
So, he's talking about the possibility of having to go down and put a cable around them and lift,
Lift them up and try to,
get them back on grade, and obviously get some ballast or some sort of a fill underneath them that's gonna hold them. Well, in order to do that, I mean,
gotta open it up.
you're talking 1/16 to an eighth of a mile at least, maybe even more, quarter of a mile, because it's north of the old Bastion place all the way up to 190th Street.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if anything's happened on the north side of the gravel road, if they've had any issues.
is there sand out there, do you think?
You know, Paul?
I don't remember, that's what Rick will have to, Mr. Hopper will have to.
All I know is the dirt piles that I saw were pretty black loam soils.
Yeah.
I mean, there's peak ground no more than 3/4 or half a mile away towards the east.
Most of it was winter construction, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Shoot.
So, that's my concern, guys.
Well, it would be, it is a concern.
Yeah, I don't think, obviously Rex wants to have to chip out another 10 grand
No.
to fix something should've been done right the first time.
How do we proceed with that? Just get with Rick and find out?
Yep.
He's gonna have to still put some effort into it, and figure out what...
You have to go out and look at them when they dig it up, and what...
He needs to be out there, somebody from his office needs to go out there when Doug's out there working and get...
I think Jason's supposed to be down, Jason might have looked at it Friday, because he was supposed to be down, but then also Rick's gonna be down riding Drainage District 6, with four-wheeler, so maybe he can come down and look at it also.
Doug's out there right now working? Yeah.
He was out there Friday and Saturday, opened up the field of beans, and he got right in, because he brought in a small backhoe, and he says, this is too small, or this is a bigger job, and
He was out there yesterday morning working.
last thing he told me is that he thought that they were gonna have to pull up everything, so, key question is, do you just fix the 6 or 7 sinkholes, realign them, and hope that's it? But I mean, if you're gonna put a cable around them and lift, I mean, you're exposing the whole trench,
Yeah.
all the way around both sides.
I'll check with Rick, I'll call him this morning.
And Doug left, and was anything when he lifted him up?
I don't know how far along he is, I'm gonna go out there and see what's going on, but, you know, is he just gonna work on just the 6, or are we gonna look at all of them, or
Yeah.
are we gonna find out?
That's where Rick better get involved, so we
Yeah.
know exactly how far we're gonna go, 'cause he maybe needs to call Denver Underground and at least visit with them.
Yeah.
I mean, their reputation's on the line to some degree, I would...
Yeah.
I would realize what the deal is.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, if it's,
I mean, I don't think you just ignore them, even if there's no bond, you go back to them, this is what we got. Is there anything you can do? Or what are we doing?
Well, it's the material of the
Yeah, if it's
tile, or if it's
Well, we need to find that
the
out.
low capacity. I mean, I was hoping that maybe between Rick and Denver, they would've been able to, from past experience, say, hey, we got an issue here, let's bring in some fill.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
I'll call Rick right now.
Yeah, that'd be great. See what he says.
he wants to get a hold of Denver, and have one of their guys come down.
I think they should.
I think they should look at it.
I think they should show an interest, 'cause it's their workmanship.
When they're doing.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just didn't do it again, you did a
Thanks, Jim.
$2 million job.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Erickson.
Talk right here.
Sure.
Okay, I'm Jim Erickson. I'm here in concern with the maintenance of Gotch Park Road South. The very last mile of Gotch Park Road is a dead-end road, it's a dead-end gravel road, and it's the only access to our hog operation at the end of that road. Sole access, no other access to our operation at all. And it's also the only access for 3 farmers along that road. And the concern is the maintenance of the road. The last 2 years, there has been some grading of the road, but absolutely no gravel put on it, and it has deteriorated to a horrendous state. I mean, it has gotten bad even in the last month. I know, I talked to Rick, and he went out and looked at it. It's twice as bad as what it was
A month ago,
a
huh?
month ago.
Imagine with all this
Every
rain.
time it rains, they have come out and graded it, and it's actually pretty good after they grade it, but as soon as it rains again, it is a muddy mess. And it is getting horrendous. And, I just want to be on record that everybody is aware of how much activity is on that road. I'm talking just for our hog confinement down there. We have 18 employees that go to work and back every day. We have at least 3 feed trucks, sometimes 4 feed trucks a week. I'm talking about semis that have to bring feed down to the hog confinement. We have at least 3 livestock semis that go up and down that road. And sometimes we have some extra semis bringing livestock in maybe once a month. So there's a tremendous amount of activity. I'm talking about just the activity for our hog confinement, not the farmers that have to harvest all of their acres down there. And one particular farm is around our hog confinement, that is about 200 acres. That is definitely his only access, actually going through our hog confinement and out. And so I'm just stating my case on the maintenance of the road should be updated and taken care of, especially before winter time here. It's gotta be a real mess if it freezes like this. Some of my employees have actually gotten stuck coming to work. They're afraid to go through a mud hole and they don't make it through. And it's right in the middle of the road, and they get stuck. And I don't know how we're supposed to continue on business in our operation. That's the sole access to this operation. And the rules have changed here for some reason in the last couple of years, and the road hasn't been maintained. Now, that operation, our hog operation, started a little over 20 years ago. And when the operation started, you guys improved that road, and you maintained that road great. It was a great road for about 18 years. And the last 2 years, it just has gone downhill, and just within the last few months, it's been horrendous. I know we've had quite a bit of rain in the last month. During September, it was every 3 or 4 days, we got some rain. And it's just a terrible muddy mess when it rains. And I know the livestock driver that hauls all of our livestock, he got to the point where he said, well, you're doing what you can, I'm gonna complain directly to the county. And I don't know who keeps track of those complaints that come directly here, but I know our livestock truck driver, trucking company has complained directly here, and our feed mill called me and asked about that road, what do we have to do to improve that road, and I said, well, the county hasn't done anything. So I think our feed mill has complained, maybe even the trucking company that hauls our feed has complained, I'm not sure. But,
Where do you get your feed from?
it's a mash-off feed mill, we're in contract with mash-off, but they come all the way from Buckeye.
Oh, yeah.
Way,
Yeah, I know where that's
feed
at.
mill, right, way down there.
I'd have to agree with Jim, I drove out there early in the summer, and when we first started talking about this, I didn't think it was too bad then.
No, it wasn't there
This last weekend, it looked pretty bad, it's really deteriorated.
There's maybe 4 or 5 spots that if some gravel was put on last spring, it would have maybe been okay now, but it's worse and worse and worse. I think the last 3/4 of the mile, the further south you go,
Yeah.
the worse it gets.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Because they maintained it pretty good around the, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the old Parson farmstead there. They pretty much wiped out the buildings there, but that's the first farmstead, and there's some bends and stuff there. It's only a little ways down the road, and beyond that, they actually, I think, maintained that and kept gravel on that to have access to that farmstead. But the further south you go, the worse it gets.
Yeah, a couple of, how much of that is in Humboldt County, that road?
It's all,
The whole road is,
yeah,
just across the line is the facility.
yeah. And you guys, like I say, for 18 years, you guys took care of that road really good. I mean, it was taken care of like a regular gravel road, even though it was designated as minimum maintenance. And even in the wintertime, you guys took care of winging the snow back, and we've been more than satisfied with how you've been taking care of that road. And
I think it concerns me a little bit. Last time we got there, I think there were 6 or 8 cars there. You said 18 employees?
18 employees.
That's a lot of people to have to get to work. They, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
What kind of an operation is it that you have 18 employees?
It's a sow operation, we have 4,600 sows there.
Okay.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
activity.
that's a lot of activity, yeah.
A lot of people think that's finishing buildings out there, they're not
Yeah, 'cause
finishing.
most buildings only have one
Yeah,
every,
yeah, if it's
and then
finishing,
something out there a little bit.
If those were finishing buildings, there may be
Yeah.
3, 4 people, if that. But we have 18 employees, there's, with the sow farm, there's breeding and farrowing and all that stuff. And all of our employees, I was trying to think of if there's any employees that do not live in Humboldt County. I think there's one that lives in Goldfield, I know. All the rest of our employees live in Humboldt County, do business here in Humboldt County. And the farm does a lot of business in Humboldt County. We do a tremendous amount of business with Hogsland. Tremendous.
So Paul, give us the history, kind of what's going on here as far as, I guess my first question would be is, I mean, Jim sounds like maybe the last year, our amount of care has changed. Is there something that's changed drastically from what we've been
Talking
doing
about this is old business that started back in 1993 when the hog ranch was gonna be developed down there. May 17th, 1993. If you have the minutes of that, 1 mile strip of Gotch Park Road and to the Webster County line as an access to the family farm was discussed, and probable cost was to be checked into, sharing the improvement with Webster County.
Okay.
Next week later, 9 interested property owners were present to express their disapproval of improving the 1 mile strip of the unimproved road south of Gotch Park Blacktop to the Webster County line. The board took no action. Next week, Mr. Raymer, along with 9 other interested persons, was present to discuss the improvements in the 1 mile strip of unimproved road south of Gotch Park. Chairman Keenest reported that Webster County was willing to provide men and equipment to assist Humboldt County improving the road, but that no direct funding would be available to Webster County. The Assistant Humboldt County Attorney and the engineer were instructed to determine the width of the road in Humboldt County, Webster County line. Next week, approval of the agenda as amended, they included road right-of-way because they didn't even have right-of-way. I think it might have been only 40 foot the last south half mile. Board hired Murray Engineering to determine the government corner in the southeast that was tied to tying down where the property was. Went into closed session August 2nd, and Humboldt County, upon returning in the closed section, it was approved to offer either lines $5,348 for 1.06 acres, purchased by the county for right-of-way, and also compensation for damages incurred on that. Prior to that, it was unimproved road. The rest of the story was...
So, Paul, at that time...
It still was going to be, they considered going to A road, and it never made it. It's been B road all along with, listed as minimum maintenance. The county did grade it to get them out of the mud, quote unquote, from one of the interviews, and it's always remained level B because there was resistance to making it A road. So it's never been an A road, it's been a maintained B road the 18 or so years. A few years ago, as we were digging through this history with other issues on this, it was determined that, we can do blading and still snow removal on it, but no formal action as to doing any other improvements, such as grading or rocking. It never was graded as a full A road in the first place because it didn't need it, quote unquote.
So the history is we never hauled rock or gravel on that?
No, we've hauled rock on it, we rocked it after we graded,
When was the last time there was rock hauled on it?
several years ago.
3, 5?
I don't remember, it was in Mick,
I would say at least 3 years.
Mick was around, when we hauled rock on it the last time. Well, he just was gone this year.
You know, the concern, the rule, it bothers me, whether it's past history or not past history, we got 18 employees out there. I think the county owes something to somebody to get those people to work. I don't know whether it's according to the code or not code, maybe you're doing what's been right in the past.
Tell me what you wanna do, I was told to just blade it and move the snow, that's what we've done
I don't
for several
know,
years.
I don't know, if I worked there, I'd be a little concerned, you know, if I couldn't get to work, but I know what's right and what's wrong.
Well, I feel we need to rock the bad spots. Go out and maintain it before this fall, before the snow flies. Get it so people can get to work. That's my opinion.
Well, there's
Already
already...
needs grading again, I know too, and if it's... yeah, like I say, probably a good share of it's pretty decent road, there's just it looked to me, the low spots have been gotten wet, and pothole gets started, and it just fills, and...
So the grade's pretty good. I mean, the grade could...
Down in the low spots, there isn't much...
The south end was an inverted road before they graded it to get them out of the mud. In other words, the property owners, as reported this weekend to me over the phone, maintained it enough to get the farming done prior to the development of the improvements in Webster County.
You know, I have to sit on the Mid-Iowa Growth Partners thing down at Fort Dodge, we talk about, instead of being in competition with each county, every time somebody, like Cargill or somebody, helps all the areas. Maybe we need to be a good neighbor, even though they happen to be in Webster County. Maybe they'll do something back for us someday. It's economic development for the whole area, not just Webster County, the fact they have to be through Humboldt County to get there. I know we don't legally have to do anything that road problem, but maybe we should, just being a good neighbor.
Under your level B ordinance that was then, the level B ordinance at 91 said you may do whatever to a level B road.
I think we need to leave it that way, 'cause...
And under the current ordinance on a level B road, the county has the options of, in the best interest of all the citizens of Humboldt County, or in some interest of the board. If you have an interest that you wanna maintain, you can do the whole works. You can regrade the whole road and make it paved highway if you want, and change it to A. You can also participate partially. The owners or the petitioners can petition for some improvements, and you can share in the costs of maintaining or upgrading, or you can, as the board, are obligated to do nothing. I mean, you got a full gamut under your current ordinance.
Jim, you're not concerned about snow removal, you guys probably get out there before we can possibly get there, don't you know?
It's just a path for the, I still like the maintainer to come down to wing it back. We have snow blades, because we have a large area around our buildings that we have to take care of ourselves. And of course, I'm driving down the road, I just put my blade down and make a path, to make sure that there's a path at 6 o'clock in the morning when our employees get to work. Now, usually, if it snows, the maintainer always shows up sometime during the day and wings any snow back completely off the road. It's so much for the pickup, you know.
We've had Monica out there even, because there is low spots, the field's higher, I mean, initially, the road, we wouldn't be here if we'd have graded the road 21 years ago. There's some ditches in there.
Well, you know, that's part of the problem.
It isn't very.
We didn't address, it didn't get addressed at the time of construction, and it kinda got passed around. But that being said, we've maintained some form of maintenance up to about now, and I don't think you can just pull that out, because we've set a precedent by doing that. Until we get something different in writing, I think you have to maintain that type of level of service, at least that was what was going on for 16 years or 18 years. And it's pretty obvious, if you've got that many people working out there, there's a need to get people out there. We're in the business of public safety too. I don't think it's fair to just expect them to drive down a mud hole to get to work, if that was a better road at one time that we had been putting some kind of maintenance in. And I don't know, maybe, Paul, maybe it should be addressed as what, and clearly stated what is gonna be done, but as far as...
Well, that would be helpful for us.
It needs to be addressed for the next 20 years.
We were instructed to grade it, or blade it as required and remove snow. And there's only so far you can go with that.
Right.
And all along, the road grade is, only to get them out of the mud, and that, if, that may not be adequate for what it's used, and maybe it never has.
Right.
Like I said, you guys have done a fantastic job. You say it wasn't graded up to specifications, but...
It was raised.
Boy, it was brought up, and I thought it was a great gravel road. I don't know what the definite specifications for an A gravel road is.
Probably a little rock would suffice without even having to worry about the grade. Many times you don't have snow 365 days of the year. I realize when you have snow, you can't get it off, but how many times during the years that happen? 4 or 5, maybe?
Yeah.
Some years more than others, but...
It looks to me like if we're gonna keep it as a grade B road, we're gonna need an agreement. You know, we had the case with Eddie Shelgren west of Rutland there with that bridge, and we met with the landowners, because the bridge beams were getting weak and they couldn't go across it with their grain carts. And the landowners, shared in the cost of that. Would you guys be interested in sharing in the cost of some gravel, to bring that up to speed? Or,
That's something you do, other parts of the county?
that's the one case I'm aware of where it was a road to nowhere that the farmers were landlocked. You know of any other ones, Paul?
The farmers weren't landlocked in that case, they were a load-rated bridge, and they wouldn't be able to...
The only other way to get out was,
Right.
there to the west.
But they could still have access, but they had a load-rated bridge that they didn't want.
So it was a cost sharing on the bridge, not the road.
Actually went to Class C road on it and gated the road, so it's not available to anybody except the farmers.
When we first accepted it between Fort Dodge and Humboldt County, you know, they brought it up, and it was brought up to cost share the gravel. And at that meeting, I can't remember who was chairman at that time, but... Keenest was chairman. He stated at that point that no other gravel road in the county was cost sharing. We weren't gonna start that now. Now, if that policy has changed with this board, I don't know, but...
That may have been at the time when they were considering trying to change it to an A road, it never made it. And I could believe that statement then, there would have been no cost sharing on any A roads.
Yeah,
Correct.
When we had, just for clarification,
This is Terry Raymer, if anybody does not know him. He's a partner of mine with the hog operation.
so when it started out, with your records there and stuff, the 9 people that met and objection to bring it up, it wasn't, they weren't objecting at that point about the road. It was a pretty typical thing in the 90s, they objected
That's
about...
my question, I wanted to ask somebody.
Yeah, so we got well past that, between a meeting here and a meeting in Webster County. And to say what Jim said, for 16 years I know of, Mick did a tremendous job. I mean, we had one of the best roads in the county. It was just tremendous, and then it just went boom.
The 9 people protesting, weren't protesting the road, they protested you guys building and building.
They were after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought they could stop.
What does it cost to gravel, what's a mile of gravel, rock cost? Paul, I have no idea.
I can't tell you offhand, I don't...
But the point was that when they maintained it regularly, it took very little rock.
Yeah.
Now we got to the point, they let it go down so far, it's gonna be an initial bust to get it going.
The rock you should have used the last 3, maybe 4 years is what you have to put on all of a sudden. Is probably what happened.
Well, we have roads, many of them that are at most every 3rd year now, some every 5th year. We are rocking to be, a third of the roads every 3 years, and some are getting it every other year, and some aren't getting it 4 and 5 years. So, 3 years out isn't, yeah.
Sure, and all that reflects traffic flow and the needs and the, you know, the amount of traffic and...
Well, this road obviously gets a fair amount of traffic when there's that many employees.
I'd like to know if there's any road, any dead-end minimum maintenance road in the whole state of Iowa that has more traffic than this road. Really, to be honest.
Yeah, and see, this is where it gets back to where it
This
should
is why it should, why
be
not
solved in
improve?
93.
I mean, it's not going away by rocking it, a few loads of rock.
Well, no, I'm beginning to wonder if this is something we're gonna have to deal with. Somebody needs to step up and deal with it. It maybe need to be a road. I mean, it's not getting any, it's not just
That was
putting...
gonna be my next
just
point.
putting
We
rock
did
on
bring
it.
up the fact that maybe it should have been a grade A road back in 93. Maybe we should address that again.
Well, I think that's the point, Jim. I think it was missed in 93. Maybe there was enough other heated topics that they didn't wanna try to push for that. But at this point in time, there's always gonna be a maintenance cost to somebody. Somebody's gonna have to do something.
I would think it'd even be a good contact to contact Webster County, to help bring it back up to grade code or whatever, you know.
We have, and they have no recollection and no record of any agreement ever on any...
No, I think what he's trying to say, bring it up new with the new board.
Yes.
Different
That
time.
would be, they brought, like I said, they agreed, they brought equipment, the people...
I mean, they're getting economic
It was
development from it too, I mean.
a cooperative deal at that point, and, we do, obviously, everybody here knows that we pay a lot of taxes there also. And, they might help you bring it back up again.
Is the life expectancy of this site gonna stay on? That's my question, you know, if it's a 10 years and it's gonna be shot and dozed, or is it gonna be up and running for 25 years?
It's gonna be up and running. It's very well maintained, and we could plan on continuing that process.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Part of it is 20 years old, another part of it 6 years old.
So there's growth there, yeah.
I don't know about growth, but maybe...
Well, yeah, there's growth, in fact, you gotta reinvest, right?
Okay,
Reinvested growth, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that changed my mind is how many people are employed there. If it's just one small operation...
That's what I wanted to make everybody aware of. A lot of people, like I say, you asked what kind of an operation it was, a lot of people think that's a finishing operation. It isn't. There's a lot of activity, and that's why we have so many employees to take care of.
And then people
Stops.
go through and hit potholes in their cars and southern vehicles and...
I've had a couple employees complain about, you know, going through some of those ruts after they dry out, and then now it's scraping the bottom of their car.
Yep.
Didn't we have an issue with turning onto South Road not being wide enough? I think they fixed that, didn't they?
No, it was
Just a concern?
I think Paul measured that with one feed truck that didn't make the corner right, And, Paul's statement is that we just need better feed truck drivers. And that's what I told him. I warn everybody about that road, about that corner down there, 'cause it's tricky, especially in the wintertime. If you blade it off, you don't know where the edge of the road is.
Yeah.
And I said, there's plenty of room there, if they're coming down the road from the west, there's no stop sign there, trucks have the right of way to make a wide turn. That turn down there is actually no concern, you just need a truck driver that knows what he's doing.
Sure.
Well, I think we should put a little rock on it, and then we should get him through the mud holes that need to be addressed a little bit. And then we need to talk to Webster County a little bit and see what their thoughts are.
Well, if we put on some rock and got it going, would you guys be interested in sharing the cost of the rock, or buy the rock and we'll haul it, or and blade it?
So, my question that'd be, if you're setting a precedence for everybody in the county, yes. If we're getting singled out, I don't think that's right, but I'd rather hear the comment back from Webster County, 'cause I think they'll be more acceptable than you think.
If you want,
We can make a couple calls to Ignite.
You know, I think that would help, if you would talk to some of their supervisors. I mean, Jim called all of us, and Harley had called me, and, I mean, Jim talked to me at Baumgart's, I guess, one time, and showed me the pictures of
I'm not sure who the board is down there now, I used to wonder.
Keith Denplaw would be good to call him.
Yeah.
and if we do, pay for part of the rock, you know,
Maybe it can be a
the other
through
farmers
thing.
share in the cost too, it's not just
Yeah,
ours.
Yeah, that's a good point, because,
Split it up and see what the other farmers say.
And the farmer said that, he didn't want us to do anything for you down there, 'cause, you guys are the ones who use the road.
You didn't get it, right?
Yeah, wait.
You're the bad.
And that's the case most level B roads. The guy hauls a little bit of grain out in the fall, drives in and out a couple times in the spring,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's why the level Bs are the way they are, 'cause they're just minimal maintenance.
this was...
Should've been something addressed years ago, is what
It might be level B, but at the point when we made the agreement to do it, it had full intentions from the board to be maintained as a level A. Now, they might not have been put in writing, as Paul says, and all that.
That's the problem, they should've put it.
They made an effort to go to make it an A road, and it
Should've been
didn't pass
pushed.
right here. It
Well, it
died.
did. It died.
After the facility's built?
Yeah, after they did the grading, they, made an effort, and to come up here, and it didn't make it. I don't know if I got a petition. And there's no record, I didn't find it, that's the only thing that I got
Well,
from...
it died, so there's no motion,
Anything.
nothing was recorded, that has a motion or denial.
They
Didn't vote on it.
They
Didn't get a motion.
Leave it alone, and it was left, the signs were never removed.
But that being said, it doesn't mean we can't revisit it today. I mean,
Right.
that was 20 years ago.
Paul, do you think that grading is necessary out there? I mean, you know, I drive through other counties, and we're fortunate, you have a good grade on most of our roads, but is that required, is that necessary?
Well, the grade is, a wonderful tool, depending on need. If you're going back to where you're getting in it in spring and fall, it isn't a real big issue. If it's year-round with 18 employees and whatever, maybe it ought to be concrete road.
No, I don't think it needs to be that, Paul, but...
But I mean, it depends on the needs.
And I think Terry's already stated earlier that the grade wasn't the real issue, as long as it was rock on it. So I don't think we need to go from one extreme to the other.
Grade-
Let's find a half.
I'm talking about a grade, would be 2 to 3 feet above the field to the side, so it'd be positive shed of water, any snow drifts across it, it's cheaper overall maintenance costs. Your upfront costs are, high to get it that way, but the long-term maintenance is much less once you get it up. They never intended, nor did they grade it to, be above. They tried to get it out of the mud. It was an inverted dirt road, as I understand it, when it started, and they graded the invert out and put some ditches on.
But it sounded like you were able to do that with rock and grading.
They raised it quite a bit. You guys had a lot of heavy equipment down there that raised it up, and then it went from inverted to probably a small above grade a little bit, but we did have a drift problem when it comes across that field. we went into the process, we put up snow fences, we went out there and bladed. We bladed what we could, but again, I emphasize, the county did a tremendous job.
Mr. Hacker and Mike Mayo did the grading, we have pictures of
They
them.
would have.
They looked younger at that point.
I'm sure they did. Well, I'm kinda like Rick, I do believe they've suffered through this a while, if it's been that bad a shape. At a minimum, let's get some rock out there, and then let's have a meeting with, I mean, this isn't gonna get determined right away with Webster County. I think we could have a joint meeting or discussion on
I'll
phone.
call Keith.
I'd give you guys some time to visit with them a little bit.
This was,
I mean, it's for the benefit of everybody long-term. It needs to be done better. We wouldn't wanna personally drive down a road like that every day of the week, so. I don't know, do anybody have any idea how many loads it might take, or you, at Paul's?
Boy, that last, Carl and I down there last Thursday, was it? Boy, that last half mile or so was at least,
It's changed in two, 3 months from
And
decent to terrible.
Maintenance levels, we're trying to put 225 a mile.
What was that?
25 tons is what we're trying to put on when we do our maintenance rock, every year, you know, the 125. 225 a mile.
225. Oh.
And some of it runs thicker, some of it might 300, and some of it might be...
$5-6 a ton.
what are we paying a ton?
What we're paying a ton is $6 plus or minus.
Seven, yeah.
It's more or less, $200 a load, time and material gets us most places in the county.
So if you put that on, say, they bought the rock, it'd be $1,750. I'm not talking a lot of money.
Okay. I'll make a proposal. I'll help bring that gravel up after we get it back up in shape. He maintains it at that point on, because it wouldn't have been in this shape if it didn't go from, somebody made a decision to quit servicing the road, obviously a couple of years ago. We would have been on that maintenance level to this point. Now we gotta bring it back up to get it where it's serviceable. We'll help absorb some of that cost, but after we get it there, then we go back to the service that we've been used to for 20-some years. Is that fair enough?
Well, also, you know, just putting rock on once, the maintainer has to have something to use for material, so it has to be rocked every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be back here.
This is gonna have to be rocked more than every 3 years, I'm sure, so.
No, Terry,
Those big trucks going over it, it's gonna push that rock into the mud.
We wanna work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't wanna set precedents either.
Don't give up on what you don't.
Coming after me.
Yeah, I think we just need to get it.
yeah,
so these
I don't think you
people
should
get
state that yet.
And then we need to go to Webster County, talk to them,
I think-
maybe some cost share or something with
Right.
them.
We need to get it so it's a safe road at this point, because it's in the best interest for everybody, no matter who's gonna pay that. I think you talk to some of the members in Webster County, see if we can't get together with them, get some kind of agreement, maybe get it more travelable, and then maybe we have a sharing agreement between the two counties, or all three of us, so there's a little participation. I don't think you should have to just bring it up to, because it's got let go, I mean, it needs to be passable. Until we talk to Webster County, I don't think we want to start saying what we're gonna all do until we know what their position's gonna be. So I think we just need to make some recommendation to Paul that he send somebody out there and see what it would take, so he got something to work with to kinda get the road leveled out. I don't think he can put a number of loads on there at this point. I mean, you go out there and put 10 loads on and see where you're at and go from there, I don't know, try something so we get started on it.
Hit the low spots, and, 'cause when I was out there 3 weeks ago,
Report back to us next week.
or 4 weeks ago, the dips were the bad spots. Is it all,
Oh, he's got some good ruts in there now, or what do you wanna call it?
Well,
Potholes?
Well, yeah.
The thing is, they have graded it after it dries out, like now it's dry.
It's just moving mud
And they
around.
could grade it, and it's smooth, and it's actually kind of a nice road after they grade it, but
When it
there's
gets
no
wet.
rock there.
Right.
They're grading dirt.
yeah, and that doesn't
And
work.
what happens when
I think the thing that makes
The
it,
base is down here, and
But,
I think it makes this road different than
yeah,
most.
and part of that, without the extra gravel in there, it's lost its crown. it's more flat, and that's why the water's just standing there.
That road probably has more traffic per day than some of the other roads have in a year, because of
That's
all
my
they do,
point.
they go in and take the top end.
Well, that's what gets back to the point, 20 years ago, it should have been.
Yeah, it should have been
addressed.
done right 20 years
It
ago.
hasn't been addressed for 20 years. I'd make a motion that we allow Paul to go out and apply 10 loads of rock this week, and then report back to kind of what that's doing. And then let's get a hold of Webster County, and then let's move forward and get something going. Let's get it started by putting on some loads and see where it's at. I'll make that as a motion.
I'll second Jerry's one.
Any other discussion?
I'm not sure we ought to limit to 10 loads.
Well, I want Paul to come back, just put on 10 loads and give us see what it does. And then, I think we gotta have more discussion, we're gonna have to, I'm not saying we can't put on another 10 if that's what we need to, but I think we need a discussion.
Let's talk to Webster before we put on any more.
We'll try to blade it before we do anything.
Yeah, right.
If it's inverted now, the rock ain't gonna fix it.
Okay.
I think the last two times they bladed, they tried to get that edge off the road so that the water would
Run out.
But every time they did that, they grabbed that dirt.
Is there intakes in
That's
some of
because
those
it's beat
ditches?
in, see what happens, gentlemen, it beats the crowd out, and then it's the last quarter of a mile.
Yeah, I noticed that the water was kinda sitting in the ditch, so I was wondering if there's intakes in ditches that are working, and
There are a few intakes.
I think there's 3 of them,
Yeah, I
at
think they're
least.
working.
I mean, when we bought the 160, Lions Place, we went in and we weren't sure they were working, we checked, they did, and then I know Parsons, on the other side of the road, they checked that one.
They would've kept theirs, probably Parsons,
Yeah.
about theirs. Let's just start there, and then Paul can get back to us and give us a full report where we're at. If that's,
Get lost. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
do talk to Keith, tell him you talked to me.
I did that with
Rick Peterson still works there? He still supervisor, Rick?
No.
No.
He isn't supervisor.
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. He got on, well, he was a supervisor, and then he got off, and then he got back on again for a little short time,
What are
okay.
you talking about?
Eddie Peters.
Eddie
Peters.
Webster County.
Webster County Supervisors, he's one.
Supervisor.
Was he used to be?
He got beat.
Used to be,
Yeah.
yeah.
He got off.
He had health problems and...
Well, Mark would be a good one to talk to, too, Mark, that's on your board,
Mark Campbell?
Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's,
Fletcher, all of them would be all right.
Clark would too.
They're pretty understanding fellows.
But I'm trying to think who would have been around 20 years ago, and we...
Well, sometimes that's good.
The cheaper...
Yeah, I think enough time's passed, we got new boards.
No, sometimes that's good to have new blood.
This may very well be a good time to address. I think
We're
it's
ready to...
I think they got, at least the last 10 years, now it's nothing to ask.
No.
We're gonna have to, I think.
Oh, yeah, they're putting a road for their facility.
Good morning again. This morning, we have, an agreement, approved construction on county right-of-way from Mid-American Energy Company for construction of a 345 kV, kilovolt, reconstruction of a 161 kilovolt overhead electric transmission line and a removal of previous structures through Beaver Grove and Humboldt Township as part of Mid-American's MVP3 transmission project. Mid-American is running if you've been absent from Humboldt County in Florida and you're coming back, Mid-American has proposed to run a new transmission line, and for the most part, they're paralleling Corn Belt's line through Humboldt County. The southern part of this line is not part of it, but the balance of it is they'll pull Corn Belt Power's poles and put their own poles in and have dual lines on Corn Belt one side and Mid-American on the other side. We've been at this for a while to try to get an agreement reached, and John is not here this morning, but John has worked with Mr. Ambrose, and we have reached an acceptable agreement, and I recommend its approval.
Good.
Okay.
Paul, you went to work for us on that, I think you'd be commended on sticking to it. And we reached an agreement, I would move we approve the right-of-way request from Mid-America, as stated.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, the EC Source Service.
Parallel to that is
Sign this.
approve a temporary access request from EC Source Services LLC along the route of Mid-American's MVP 3 transmission project. And, we have, although he looks like a doctor here, the signature on this, Tim Warren is present with us and has been here, since, bright early this morning. They're requesting accesses, more or less at the, locations of these new power poles. What they're gonna do is, put temporary, we've called them driveways, temporary accesses to get to the roadway, to the power line. So once completed, they are as temporary and they are coming out. They will be removed because, they are not formal driveways, they're just accesses for the construction of it. And the list is rather lengthy. We did one cover sheet and have a tab on the back of all of the access requested. Dave Powell has worked with Tim extensively, and we've reviewed this, and in conjunction with the agreement with the parent company of Mid-American, I would recommend that we approve these temporary accesses.
Okay.
Well, some of these have to have tubes in them, even though
All
they're
of them
temporary?
are having tubes on them, I believe. Is that correct, Tim?
Yes, sir.
So you have your own tubes that you
Yes, sir.
take and move in and out and clean up, pick up when you're done?
Absolutely.
This permit has the note on, above and beyond, temporary culvert fill material shall be removed upon the completion of the MVP 3 project. No part of the culvert fill material shall be disposed of within county right-of-way, and right-of-ways shall be restored to pre-project condition.
Okay, very good.
You foresee that down the road, when we get closer, that some farmer's gonna want that remaining, we have to go through a process to...
I can't, outguess the guesser.
That's something different.
We've looked at some of these, in some places that might be possible, but what we're not doing is asking him to dig the pipes down into where they should be.
That was gonna be my next
Yeah.
question.
I mean, if it's set
Not
within 3
great.
feet, he's
They're
going
gonna lay it on
temporary,
top.
they're gonna lay it on top and go.
Yeah.
I think that, the fact that you're doing that, that clears us up, because these can't be left as a permit driveway without getting permit, and putting them at the right grade.
Most of them probably, a lot of them are at 1,000 feet apart, and our permit, as you know, is every quarter
So
mile.
I think we just have to stick to that, and if they want.
And if they
You know,
come
and
back...
if they're gonna take them out anyway, so if you wanted their driveway, take it out, and then a farmer could come in and ask for permit, put it in again.
Well,
There won't be that many.
Well, I can hear, let's leave them all in because it's so handy to get...
No, you know how it is. Yeah,
every driveway...
But we don't let anybody else in the county get something for nothing either, so I mean, you can't do it that way.
There's no, nothing.
Not on driveways.
Very good. The driveways, we're treating these as temporary. We did
Yeah.
not review them if there's too many around
Make it
or whatever.
clear that it's
We just
temporary.
temporary. Some of these are extensions of what's there, but we went to the effort to even where they're adding to what's there, they're taking it back to what's there. We have
Right.
documented what's there now, measured it up, and he can remove it back to what's there.
Well, I'm sure all the supplies you bring in, especially the pipe you reuse for other projects too, I mean, this is, I mean,
No, it's all brand new.
it's all brand new.
Really?
Really?
There might be a market for it around here.
Yeah.
Well, that's we're done.
Quiet.
Yeah.
You might want to rock after the roads,
Yeah.
they get taken out.
Yeah, we might have a place for the rock.
Well, what they do beyond the driveway is, I hope, what you're referring to on the rock.
Well, this is good, you've documented what they were before, that's the main thing, if somebody comes, if somebody comes in and says, well, that was always there, well, you know if it was there or not, that's the main thing.
And that's what the table does, where it's an extension, Dave has documented what existing pipe there and what the top of the driveway was.
Okay.
You got a motion?
I will so move.
Your second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
You gave him a call and tell him to get to work now then? He's been waiting for this for a couple of weeks, gentlemen, so I'm glad we're there. He's called patiently and wondering the status of this, and he's been very civil and very workable. Approved construction on county right-of-way from Mastech on behalf of CenturyLink for buried phone service near 2328 225th Street. This is just east of Humboldt here in Beaver Township to get a service in where there is none. Ben has reviewed it and recommends its approval.
Okay, I'll make a motion. Start the phone now for CenturyLink.
I'd second Rick's motion.
Any other discussion?
No.
Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Excuse me. I got crud, there we go. Now I can see. That's soybean dust, I think. Approved voucher number 6 to Merriman Bridge, for work completed on our BR project. It's our parent, 57 BR project. I'll pass this, I'm sorry. What we should be is pretty much everything complete except for some obstruction markers and grading. And the grading's well on its way, gentlemen. A big chunk of it was done, Thursday, Friday last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we're bringing the grade up some more yet today. I'd say in the next few days, we should get, most of this finalized.
There is no pipe under that road anyplace in that low spot, is there?
Yes, one equalizer, there's one 21-inch equalizer in the middle that we had extended as part of the project, because as we filled the road up, we needed a little more. The ditch, as before and will when we're done, actually is lower back at that low spot than it is at the bridge. I mean, it was just an equalizer to drain both sides, one side to the other. It is the great equalizer when the floodwaters come up, 'cause it whistles through there, cleans the pipe out good, and then when waters go away, it's done. But this is coming along nicely, assuming we don't get any 1.5 rains and slow things up. Our material initially was stockpiled in the boat area, and any stockpile we built 2 years ago was pretty dry. The material isn't dry now, and we have plenty wet, so we don't need God to help us out with a little more moisture today, and we'll be wrapping this project up.
Good.
It's a nice investment in the road, $309,000 to this road.
The motion to approve?
I will so move.
Second.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next order of business is our job posting, approved job posting for laborer position for secondary roads. Help wanted, Humboldt County Secondary Roads is currently taking applications for a laborer position. Opening is primarily in the Dakota City maintenance area, but would be expected to report as needed throughout the county. We need an A CDL and medical examiner certificate as a non-exempted interstate driver, and a pre-employment physical, including drug testing, are required. Application forms are available at our office and should be submitted no later than 4:30 p.m. October 30th.
Sounds like a pretty good pedigree. I think you got the waterfront covered. What kind of candidate do you think you'll get?
Don't know, that's why we're advertised. And, we'll see what we got. We've gone through the, exercise internally, and now we're, opening a position formally for applicants outside the county to come and work for Humboldt County.
No more. Typically, did we have any jobs moving? We got 3 shops now, so...
We had a voluntary transfer that took place, a month and a half ago, where we pulled Rutland to Humboldt. And the balance of Rutland staff is in Bode, and, at this point, we're, trying to get the details for some revised snow routes. Although our current snow routes would work, I think we can move things away from the one plow per township from 1940. Right.
Efficiency,
So typically, this guy would work out of the Humboldt shed?
Yes, typically it's Dakota City opening, it's in the Dakota City maintenance area. And again, with our language, we would be down to 3 locations that they'd be asked to report, but generally start here, he or she would start in Humboldt and go.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, you go ahead.
I move we approve the job posting as presented by Paul for labor.
Second?
I'll second it then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we got Drone back.
Just before
You gonna do something?
Check. Just a second, I'm writing notes, you can't. No, I just handed you can you take care of that, Kent?
Sure.
Thank you. This is, finally with Mr. Grumback is a poll, yeah, you haven't even got copies of it, have you? I had them ready to go, but we still were dragging on a bond. And this is from way, quite a while ago, we had, awarded this project and never got the contracts back. And I'll give you full of life completed, Peggy. I have 3 originals here. But this is, approve the contract and bonds to, Grumback Construction to do, the project, the Dakota City shop roof. And, we started this back in May is when we took, quotes for it. Total project is $25,903. We have a performance and a payment bonds, that I reviewed this morning from Mr. Grumback that are complete in place.
When's this supposed to be done?
Supposed to be done, the end of this month, I believe.
That was, ain't gonna make it.
Not the way the months go by.
In the notice,
2 weeks? Wait, that's almost 3 weeks if he really jumped on it.
let me clarify that, I believe it is, trying to find the specs here. The specs tie it all in, question is a valid one, I should have known that off the top of my head, but I don't recall.
Is there liquidated damages in there?
The project shall be fully completed by November 1st, 2014. The contractor must also agree to pay as liquidated damages the sum of $100. That's interesting. It says $100 and then in parents, $50 for each calendar day. It looks like it's $50 a day, Harlan.
Yeah.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
So I have, 3 forms of agreement for your signature, Mr. Chairman, and then beyond that, I've run out of business.
Paul, do you have any more update on Karen May's problem out west of town?
I don't know that we've dug anything out there yet. We have located it. Obviously, you saw the locates on it, and, we got other things. Right now, we got most of the tasks. We got, 9 of our employees are hauling dirt this morning.
Up to the bridge.
4 of them started by going, anyway, we had random, drug and alcohol tests stopped this morning too, to slow things down for a little. But, we have a locate of a drainage problem out there by Tinkin Schoolhouse on that big main.
Yeah.
And another different issue, different contractor, but a new main that's taken dirt, and it's the second time. Somebody else exposed it last fall, right before winter. Before we pursued it anymore, we said, wait, we don't wanna go under the road right before winter. And we're trying to get to that too. Huh?
This isn't right away.
It's right in the, intersection, out by Tinkin Schoolhouse, which is C-49 and the Claire Blacktop. Southwest corner of the intersection. It's a big main that went through for ag closures there too.
Right.
There was an ag drainage well in there too, wasn't there, that was close?
Just on the north side, yeah. on the southwest side of the school.
Blue corner for a long time.
But there is numerous things. I will keep, monitoring where we're at with that. We've got a lot of things that, don't make it here that we've been, getting done with some of the drainage work. Actually worked well with the railroad to get a little bit cleaned up where we have right-of-way that is adjacent to the railroad right-of-way, and with railroad's blessing, and we actually cleaned up to the cross pipe to ensure the surface water had a clear path across the road. Not everything has to happen up here, but we have been getting some things done, and the railroad has, worked nicely with us on that.
How much dirt, you have to haul dirt for how many days into that bridge up there to get it? There's a lot.
A couple more days,
Okay.
probably. And then, not everybody's involved with that, but we are mowing, gravels, we're mowing back slopes, we're mowing the back sides, getting ready for winter. And fixing this or that. We did some work at the, landfill last week, in the old landfill, the old business, from a year ago. Before Mr. Minikes had to write it, that it wasn't completed. And so there's been a lot of action out there, and still is, so.
You know, they were gonna, Minikes was sent those plans down to get those uprights put in.
Have not been reviewed.
He sent them down to the DNR, I thought we was gonna get that done this summer.
Well, the good news is they haven't reviewed them, and hopefully they don't review them in the next 20 days, because then they'll give you 40 days to put them in, and I'm not interested in trying to put them in frozen ground.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen real easy.
Otherwise, we still have, this is the, going on, we're 3 with our contractor for 3-box culverts.
Hasn't started yet?
Mm-mm. He's still got time, 'cause even now, he's got 20 days left for 3 projects, so, I mean, if he gets in here, if he's got enough manpower, 4 to 5 days a project can do it, but,
Getting closer.
but the clocks keep
Yeah,
ticking.
the weather can get nasty this time of year.
Well, and then, if the weather gets nasty and it's a controlling item that he can't do it because of the weather, then the clock shuts off.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, all 3 of these are gravel roads, but still, we don't, like to get caught, this time of the year, with that kind of problem.
Okay.
Never a dull moment, is there?
There's something usually on fire on any given day, yes. But, it's moving well. We need to get our, winter, work in line, including, personnel and routes, and, keep going.
Any statics back on our action last week on 15 miles of, or additional of no snow? Any comments? I haven't heard anything.
I haven't had any direct irate, anything that I recall. I had comments on no snow removal, but some of the comments that I hear anymore go in and out. I mean, if it's something I need to write and record, I do. I get a lot of comments all the time.
But on everything.
On everything.
Not just that.
Yeah. I take notes on the stuff that I receive that I need to remember.
Overall, the comments are usually very positive, but particularly individual wouldn't like.
Yeah, that's appreciate it.
Did you get any complaints about the last, application of, road dust suppression?
I didn't, Sue may have.
That's one good reason to have that contracted out, direct, so we were already involved, other than...
And normally we get complaints, it goes right to Sue. Sue routes them to the applicator for that year. We did have a complaint where we bladed through somebody's, and I had, seen that location just prior to it, not too far off, and I said, it was, tire rutted, and there was some potholing. I said, we have the right to maintain, and our blade operator said it needed to be maintained. We've maintained it.
Right. that's gonna happen on.
And then fortunately, Bennett rained, and it's been rain. So, the dust control, not only does the rain reactivate whatever's there, we haven't had a lot of dust issues here lately yet, but,
Back window of my car, I can sure tell when it stopped raining. All right. Thank you, Paul. Claims, anybody look at claims?
I will move to approve. There were $287,902.51, and drainage was $81,352.96.
Here, a second.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Reporters. Reports ending September 30th.
I move we approve and place on file the recorder's report as of September 30th.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sheriff's report.
There's one we gotta look at.
Still getting a lot of concealed weapons money, it looks like. It's slowed down.
Yeah.
Now I'll make a motion to accept and file the sheriff's quarterly report in September 30th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Auditors.
Make a motion to approve auditor's report, quarterly report.
Second.
Second?
Favor?
Aye.
Committee reports. Carl, you do anything this week?
Probably not.
Have a lot of already said that.
He does that on purpose.
On Tuesday, the 7th, I was in Des Moines to ISAC for a technology meeting. We met from 9:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. Still working on this network, trying to get the links put together to help with mental health and all other kinds of communication. There's 6 different committees, 3 different main committees. They have chairmen, and those chairmen are communicating with each other, so it's really a formality having this formal meeting. A lot of the work is done in the individual committees outside the meeting. So that was on Tuesday, the 7th. 8th, I had a Head Start meeting in Fort Dodge, which will be my last one, because I went off the board.
So I'll have to find something else for him.
Yeah, he'll be available.
Get rid of one, get
Sure.
Don't get any ideas.
He'd be good.
Thursday, we all met here, we went downtown, and we talked about law enforcement,
You'll see me.
PLC with, architect. And Friday, this wasn't really dealing with courthouse, but I went on tour. We went to Osage, we went to Hampton, we went to, what's the county seat up here on Highway 3 where your land is? Garnet.
Oh, God.
Anyway, there's a group of 7 or 10 people working on a wellness program, trying to get some kind of wellness center built here in the county. We went out just to look at others. The reason we got involved is pretty much economic development. If you're gonna recruit people to town, they're starting to want these kind of things. And each one of these towns is smaller than Humboldt. The one in, up north, it had 23 different zip codes of people who came in and paid dues to be in that facility. And what they're trying to do is get a running track, a weight room, very similar to what they have in the racquetball club. And some of them have swimming pools. We started out thinking about that. Everywhere we've gone, they said, don't touch a swimming pool, it's gonna get cold, too expensive. Unless you can get the hospitals tied in with it, to do their medical things. And they can get some aid. The thing is different, every one of these have got city involvement. The city government's the ones that's kind of taking the bull by the horns. So far, that hasn't happened here in town, so it's just something they're looking at, but it's about as important. We talked about daycare, we talked about this, That's what these young people want that's gonna move into town. If they don't have those amenities, they say, heck with you, I'll go someplace else. And what we're finding is Jefferson can get them, Emmitsburg can get them, Hampton can get them, why can't we get something going here? That's what we're exploring. That has nothing to do with boards of supervisors, but it really does in economic development. So we'll continue to work on that. And on a side point, each one of these wellness centers we went to had a room that was daycare also. Someplace the young mothers could put their kids from age one while they're exercising.
Tied it together, didn't
Tied them together. It wasn't a full-fledged day center, but it opened at 4 o'clock after school and went till 8.
Which is always a shortage from 4 to 8 for people.
And they put one person in to man it. And none of these places had the expenses over $500 a year for family memberships. So it's within reach. If you,
I've been to the Garner one, my cousin lives up there, and he took us down when they belonged. It's a really nice facility, Garner.
Are they running in the black?
Garner is,
Are they?
yeah, and they're getting some city funds. Osage got a big head start because the guy that owns this natural gas, generator situation, he put $7 million in it to start that.
Oh, that'd be a big start.
So that's a jump start.
Big jump.
Hampton's got the city, they don't have some of them are running with city and rec. Hampton didn't have that. They just kind of went out on their own and got it going. They have a real nice swimming pool there, but they said they wish they hadn't put it in because it's costing them money.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. And when we stopped over there, I bet there was 30 or 40 women in that swimming pool working out that day. And they waved at us and having a great old time. We have people that drive out of town every day to do that. The one thing we're talking to the racquetball club, because they got a facility here in town. But if you're gonna put a running track in, we're running into problems because of the airport. You can only go about 25 or 30 feet higher because of the drift. And you can't go south because of the floodplain.
Got issues.
So we're looking a little bit north, and those people are very receptive. They're wanting to do something together, if it's possible. But it's just in the working stage, just report status quo. That was it, Peggy. May never happen.
I didn't have any reports, Peggy. Didn't make that meeting.
Monday, we're at the LEC board, Monday morning at 7:30. And then Thursday, I was at the LEC again for that meeting with the architect. Talked over a lot of things with him. Still trying to come up with a finalized plan or something close to a finalized plan, so we know what kind of dollars we're looking at. And the big issue is still how we're gonna make the payments. But I think we're getting closer on that. And I think he's gonna get us something to us by October 20th.
We had to have a...
Next board meeting?
Linda has a grant that if she can get it, she has to have it turned in by the 25th, I think.
Was there an amount to that grant, total amount that she could get?
I think it's a technology grant, I believe.
But was there an amount though? Or is it unlimited what she can get?